Good afternoon, Facebook. Doing this live again like this because still banned, not banned, but won't let me go live on my main account for some reason. I tried last night, as you all saw. I tried again today. It still won't let me go live, so I'm gonna have to get the message out. What I want to get out this way. The message I want to give to you today is the reason why I'm in this fight. The reason why I want rid of this government, because they are tyrannous and corrupt. And the reason why I can never back the King's flag, Andy Devine and John Manoa. Just many other reasons why I can't do all that. But the main reason I can't do all of this is because of a man who went by the name of Jack. How can I tell you about this great man? Jack was a veteran. Jack was caught up on Dunkirk, fighting rear guard when the Germans, foot soldiers, was trying to get to the beaches. But for 4 days they held the Germans back before actually getting captured. But the thing that haunted him all through his life was the fact that even though they was doing the best, every time he seen the Stuka, looked up and he saw the Stuka bombers coming over to the lads on the beach, he said we just couldn't save the lads on a lot of the lads on the beach, the poor lads on the beach. And I said to him, but Jack, you've got nothing to be ashamed of. You did your best. You spent 5 years in a prisoner of war camp. There's nothing more you could have done. You did your best. You stopped a hell of a lot more people being killed. And his answer to that was, but I feel guilty because I came back. A lot of people lost sons, brothers, dads, granddads. He said, and he used to sob, ladies and gentlemen, Jack. He used to sob all the time. He told me about, he wouldn't go into details a lot of the time about his time in the prisoner of war camps. But he did tell me that it was horrendous, that there was woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning, took down the pit to do what they've got to do, get the coal out. And if on their shift they hadn't got enough coal out, there was made stay down there and help the next shift to get their allocation out as well as theirs. And nobody could come up till their allocation was done. People died down them mines. And he said the food that was given, it was not Red Cross food. The only time they had Red Cross food was when they knew the Red Cross was coming out, and it was all a charade. They couldn't say anything. But the majority of the time, their dinner consisted of potato peelings, ladies and gentlemen, potato peelings in water, boiling water, and that was all that was given. The men used to fight. If a German soldier bit an apple, finished with it, threw it on the floor, the men would fight over this apple. That's how hungry they was. And people used to run at the fence just to escape the torture, just to be killed. He said he had one man standing next to him and said, Jack, write to my wife and kids, please. Tell them I'm sorry, but I can't do this anymore. And he'd run at the fence and got shot, killed him, the Germans. That's how bad it was in the Second World War. I know it was bad in all the other wars as well. But you've all got a Jack in your family, whether it was First World War, Second World War, Afghanistan, Iraq, you name it, whatever's been fought before and since. You'll all have a Jack in your family who did what he did for the cause and for this country. And a lot of them did give up their lives. you know, undoubtedly gave their lives. Jack was lucky he came back. But anyway, he was telling me a lot of things about what happened during the war while he was there. People used to give solid gold watches and give them to the Germans for a cigarette. That's how bad it was. And he was also on the long march to freedom, where minus 25 degrees, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely belting it down the snow. Minus 25. They got them up out the beds on the long march and started marching them. Now, a lot of them only had the normal, what you would see the normal soldiers. None of them had overcoats, just normal, you know, everyday army gear. And a lot of them, they'd got sores on the feet before they even started walking through working in the mines and that. But anyway, they trundled along and there was marched 20 miles a day. And they'd find a barn or somewhere to sleep during the night. If you was walking along, he said if you needed a wee, or you had to do it in your trousers, because the Germans was only looking for any excuse to shoot you. Dysentery was of the highest order over there when they was on the march. He said a lot of people, if they fell on the floor with exhaustion or whatever, anything, the Germans just used to leave them to die. There was none of, and if you tried to help them, they'd say move on, or you know, you'll be shot. That's how bad it was. It was really bad. And the one night when they went into a barn, they woke up in the middle of the night, the Germans had all gone, and they could hear voices. It was the Russians, but the sergeant or whatever it was in charge of, you know, Jack's regiment and that, people who was on the march, he went outside to converse with the Russians, and they made it quite clear they may be our allies, but they don't like us very much. And, you know, they was only looking for an excuse to beat you up or kill you as well. That's how it was. There was no real allies like back then. Because they didn't know, nobody trusted each other, even though the allies, because look at Stalin. Started off on Hitler's side, then he wasn't, then he was, then he wasn't. And then they liberated. So you couldn't trust the Russians. But anyway, everybody got liberated and they came home. Jack was 5.5 stone when he came home. He was 12.5 stone, 13 stone when he went. 5.5 stone, ladies and gentlemen, when he came back. It's like a bag of bones. And that's what the war does to you. But he did that because of the love for this country and everything it stood for. And that's one of the reasons, that's the main reason why I'm in this fight. I will never, ever, ever dishonour Jack's name or other people like him, because they were true veterans. They've got this, had this country. They're at heart. And the veterans today, just the same. They fight for this country. They give their all for this country. And that's all I'm saying. If you're a veteran, think very carefully about this King's Flag business, because you are getting ripped off. And the main reason why I will never ever dishonour Jack's memory is because Jack was my dad, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why I will never ever dishonour that man's memory. And I will never do anything to harm that. And that's why I will never give in to the likes of Andy Devine and John Manoa. You can swivel. The King's Flag can go swivel. The government, the Constitution, ladies and gentlemen, is the solution. Common law, the rule of law, no loss, no harm, no injury, and no fraud is what we stand for. I did do a full story on Jack. It's on my videos on this page. If you go into my videos and go down to Jack's story, you'll see it goes into it in a bit more detail. But I didn't want to do that on here today. I just wanted to show you and come on and tell you why I do what I do in this fight. And it's because we love every single person in this country. That's why the Dragons was set up. And then when the Dragons was no more, that's why me and Nathan carried on with this other group. Because we cannot let these people win. We need to take back control of this country, and we can do it with the Constitution. The Constitution, ladies and gentlemen, is the solution. Don't fall for any bullshit that you're falling for with these other people. All they are in it for is this. They're in it for your money. There's a video been put on YouTube today. I've just watched it. Very good, actually. I wish I knew the guy who did it, because I'd get him on my live and thank him. One, John Minowan actually, from his own lips, admits common law is there to protect the sovereign people. And two, he mentioned the 4.5 million vets and the £25 he was going to get off every one of them. If they all just give £25, well, you won't ever see that £25 again, and you'll get nothing for it. We can't warn you any more than we've warned you, ladies and gentlemen, and we're not going to. Same as with these sovereign decrees. I'm telling you now, we're not having the backlash from these sovereign decrees anymore. We've put the truth out. We've told you the disclaimer makes it unusable. So anybody now, from now on, who gives £50 for these sovereign decrees, don't come to us, because you've been warned. They're not for you. If you need the system in any way, shape or form, sovereign decrees are for people who've got money, who're never going to need the system. Because yes, of course you can step out the system. But once you do a sovereign decree and come out of the system, you're buggered. And you might need that system if you're a working class person. The difference between a sovereign decree and lawful rebellion is lawful rebellion, you're not coming out the system. All you're doing is withholding your taxes, etc., from the system. You're not stepping out of anything. You're just getting the regress you need by doing what you're entitled to do and what you should be doing dutifully and lawfully when a government is tyrannous and corrupt, by going into lawful rebellion and stop paying all your taxes, but you're not stepping away from the system. That is the difference. But anyway, I'll leave it there now, guys. Just a quick one, just to show you what it was. I didn't go into detail about Jack because I get really upset when I still see the pain in his eyes now, ladies and gentlemen, when I talk to my dad. I could still close my eyes and see the pain and the tears rolling down that man's face when he was telling me the suffering that happened in them POW camps and the way they were treated on that long march to freedom. And they did all that for us, ladies and gentlemen. They did all that for us. And how are we going to repay them? Are we going to dishonour their memory? Because I know certainly I'm not going to. You all need to have a good look in the mirror, and you've got kids, grandkids, and future generations to think of. My dad, your granddads, our ancestors, they all did the right thing by us. They hadn't got to go and fight in these phony wars, but they went because they protected us. Now it's time for us to do the same for these guys. Because dishonouring the memory of veterans is not an option, ladies and gentlemen. We have to stand with the veterans and we have to honour the memory of those who have gone before. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there now, guys. Stay safe. Remember, the Constitution is the solution. The rule of law, common law. No loss, no harm, no injury. Here's my hand, here's my heart. I'll speak to you all soon. And don't forget, Rick is live tonight at 9 p.m. So Rick, tune into that. Rick is live tonight at 9 p.m. And I'll speak to you all soon. Have a great weekend.